Hi, my dear students. Today we are going to discussing about the concept of demographic dividend and another concept, the occupational distribution of population in our India. This is the topic of first unit of paper fifth of our economy. Now we are going to discussing about the first concept is demographic dividend and the concept of demographic dividend and what is the demographic dividend in our India. What are the demographic dividend concepts in our India now? So now we are going to discussing through some PPTs. I will show some PPTs of our concept. First of all, we are discussing the concept of demographic dividend. So the concept of demographic dividend in the sense, this means what is the demographic dividend in our India, and also what is the concept of demographic dividend in general. For example, increasing in rate of economic growth due to rising share of working age population. This is also called demographic dividend. In India, increase in the working age population. This is a good indicator for development. For example, working age population in the sense, working age population also called demographic dividend. So we are discussing about the concept of demographic dividend. The concept of demographic dividend means what is the demographic dividend is a technical concept. For example, demographic dividend contributes to our economy and in general any economy. So in India, the increase in the working age population, that means it's a boost in economic productivity that occurs when these are growing number of people in the workforce, that is 15 to 64 years age group relative to the number of dependents. So this is the age group, especially mainly concentration of demographic dividend of our country. So these are the working age workforce are most important to our economy for increasing economic growth and especially for economic product and growth and development. So simply we called demographic dividend means the number of people in the workforce, that is 15 to 64 years. That is the important concept of demographic dividend. And now we are going to second slide. The proportion of working people in the total population in our India is very high. So due to the dividend between young and old, great potential for economic gains, that is also called a demographic gift. That is also called demographic gift. So demographic gift means those people who are in working age population, that is demographic gift. That is an asset of human capital of our economy and any other economy. Especially young age people in the age group from 25 to 34, 35 years. But working age people 15 to 64 years. Especially young generated people are also most important in this age group. So the proportion of working people in the total population very important, and younger people also most important between the age group of 25 to 34, 35. This is also most important demographic gift, our point of view in our especially in our economy. And we are going to discussing another concept. What are the mechanism for growth in the demographic dividend? This is the most important. In the mechanism for growth in the demographic dividend, increase in labor supply is most important. Increase in labor supply is most important. And increasing domestic demand also most important. And increasing in savings also. And increasing in human capital. Increasing in labor supply, and that means increasing labor supply means 15 to 64 age group labor supply most important. In our India, most of the population engaged in 15 to 64 age group, almost all 50% above the population. No problem. So these population contribute to increasing domestic demand. So domestic demand increasing leads to employment. Employment leads to savings. Savings leads to capital. Capital leads to investment. And investment leads to employment. This is the linking cycle of the economy. And already I told increase in savings and increasing human capital also. These are the mechanisms for growth in the demographic dividends. So demographic dividend is contribute to these type of mechanisms, so increasing labor supply, demand, savings, capital. In this point of view, demographic dividend is most important total in the total population. So demographic dividend is the part of the total one of the major part of the total population. So in the total population, demographic dividend is the concept is most important for economy point of view. And now we are going to discussing about since 1980s, India's age structure changing demographics. By 2026, India's average age would be 29. That means the average youth population. So this is the main asset of our country. Average youth population almost all 30 crores above in our India. This is the main asset. The world's highest youth population in the world is India only, especially in the age group around 25 to 34, 35 years. And in the next 2 decades, the continuing demographic dividend in India would add about 2 percentage points per annum to India's per capita GDP growth. So this is the most important. Every year, youth population added to our population, we have every 100 people, 2% of the youth population added to our economy. So this leads to growth of GDP and also per capita income also. This is the most important. And another important thing is India's population in 2050 is predicted to be 1.692 billion people. This is the most important aspect. So 1.692 billion people means, in the sense 1.69 means 100 crores and 69 lakhs of people. That is called 1.692 billion. 1 billion is equal to 100 crores. So this is the most important in point of view. India occupies world's most populous country, and in the ranking, world's number one in the population category in 2050. So China occupies after India second place in 2050. And another concept, India's demographics dividend refer to the growth in an economy that is the result of a change in the age structure of a country's population. So this demographic dividend reflects to change in and structure of a country's population categories, especially working age population. So this is the most important. This is an demographic gift also already I told. Demographic gift in the sense youth population age group, increasing youth population age group. And we are going to discussing demographic dividend phase. That means India's demographic dividend phase is starting from 1964 to 2004, and demographic dividend diverting of resources increase in women workforce leads to increase in economic growth. So this is also most important. In our India, population increases rapidly, no doubt, but the proportion of women workforce population is the most important point. That means that workforce leads to increase in our economic growth. This is the most important sign. So workforce means manpower force, including male and female. So female workforce increasing is the good sign of our economy. This is also most important. And India has one of the youngest population since 2018. Still continues. Almost all 30 crores above the youngest population included to our population now. And a decline in fertility and mortality refer boosts to a demographic dividend. This is also most important. In our female fertility and mortality refer boosts to a demographic dividend. So fertility and mortality decreases. This leads to increasing in working age population of especially women in our country. This is also one of the greatest achievement of our economy, and also more contribution to our growth and development of our economy. So now I am clearly saying that I'm going to mainly concentrate on dividend over demographic dividend. Demographic dividend means only for working age population between 15 years to 64 years. In our India point of view, especially youth population from 25 years to 34-35 years. So this is the most important youth population. Around 30 crores above the youth population contribute to. Already I told 29 years average age working youth population is our main asset to our country. And now we are going to discussing another topic, that is occupational distribution of population in our India. Occupational distribution of population means different occupational distributions in our India. What about our occupational distributions? So, what about different age, different sectors occupations? So, this is the most important aspect of our point of view. So now your concentration on occupational distribution of population in India. This is another topic of our lessons. Occupational distribution of population means distribution of working population among the different sectors in the economy. Already we told demographic dividend 15 to 64 age group. So these age group of the population distribution in different sectors of our economy, that is the most important. Different sectors of our economy. So different sectors of our economy, in the sense, different sectors means our economy mainly divided into three sectors: primary sector, secondary sector, and tertiary sector. Primary sector means agriculture and allied sectors, is also called primary sector. Agriculture and allied sector means agriculture, animal husbandry, fisheries, forestry and logging, and different crops, and poultry, egg industry and poultry industry, and some other agriculture related industries, horticulture, sericulture, some different types of crops, and different types of food crops, non-food crops, and aquaculture, sericulture, different types of cultures. So those are all agriculture related aspects are under primary sector. And secondary sector in the sense, secondary sector, mining, manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply, and construction. This is also most important from our point of view. Agriculture and allied sectors are our basic dependent sector, no doubt. But now agriculture and allied sectors, the surplus labor are shifted to industry sector and service sector now. So most of the agriculture and allied sectors labor having some technical knowledge and degrees, and then shifted to industries and services sectors now. So secondary sector is mining and manufacturing, electricity, gas, water supply, and construction. Mining and manufacturing, the manufacturing is the most important sector. That is, the manufacturing consisting over 8 core sectors, and consumer goods sector, capital goods sector, and intermediate goods sector. So 8 core industries, that is called coal, cement, electricity, gas, fertilizers, finished steel, crude oil. These are the 8 core sectors. And consumer goods sector, durable goods and non-durable goods, and intermediate goods sector. So these are also called major manufacturing sectors. And electricity, gas, water supply, and construction also. Nowadays construction means so many constructions, roads, buildings, irrigation sector wise. So these are the different constructions. So these are under this category. And one of the most important sector is services sector, that is including trade, transport, storage, communication, banking, insurance, and other public utility services, and also public administration services, and also other education and health facility services, and ownership of dwellings, real estate services, and tourism, hotels, restaurants, and etc. Those are called under the services sector. And now we are observing in the table the sectoral contribution of GDP of the different sectors. In 1950, 51, 1991, and 2016, the major 3 sectors, agri and allied sectors, industry and services. Agri sector 59%, 50, 51, 1991 34.9, 16, 17, 15.11, and industry 13%, 24.6, 31.12, and services 28, 40.5, and 53.77. That means 77. In 2050 to 51 compared to 1991, and 1991 to 2016 to 17 compared to agriculture sector slightly and rapidly decreases. Show in the table 50, 51, 59%, and 16, 17 only 15% contribution to it. That means 15% to 59% is a huge difference. For every 100 rupees, agriculture contribution is 50, 51, 59 rupees. In 16, 17, only 15 rupees. But industries also 50, 51, 13 rupees, 13% in the sense, and 16, 61, 31. And also services sector. Services sector also 50, 51, 28 increases 53.77. So this is the most important difference. So services sector occupies most important role in our economy comparatively agriculture and industry. So agriculture and industry slightly, agriculture also most slightly decreases. So industry and services are growing simultaneously. So this is the good sign of our economy. But most of the Indian people depends upon agriculture sector now in our economy. But agriculture sector is a subsistence sector of our people, especially working age people, 15 to 64 age group. But these are the indications of occupational distribution of population in India that reflects on the degree of development and the diversification achieved in an economy. So, occupational structure reflects a high degree of backwardness in Indian economy. So, increasing occupational distribution of population in 3 sectors. So more increasing in our growth and development and also our GDP. So occupational structure reflects backwardness or development or growth and development of our economy. So occupational distribution shows which sector was neglected by the governments, which sector was neglected by any other institutions, which sector is growing, which sector is decreasing. So this is the good indication of occupational distribution. And also we are observing some prospectus over the last 80 years, from 91 to 81. The last 80 years, 81 to 91, the proportion of working force engaged in primary sector, highest working force engaged in primary sector, almost all 60% above, and secondary sector is 28 to 30% only. 28 to 30%. So, introduction of planning commission and our planners in India changed the occupational structure by transferring working force from agriculture to secondary and tertiary sectors. So the planners plan to change our occupational structure, but sometimes their plans are failed due to dis and misallocation of resources in different sectors. This is the main drawback. And planned economic development anticipated a rapid progress in the expansion of irrigation, power, basic industries, and services sector. So irrigation, power, and some basic industries, that is core industries, cement, coal, gas, steel, electricity, fertilizers, crude oil. These are the important core sectors. So the growing labor force in agriculture has to be provided with full employment within agriculture. And the absorption capacity of both the second and tertiary sector jointly increase. Yes, agriculture sector drastically decreases. So most of the agricultural labor are shifted to secondary and tertiary sectors jointly. So these sectors having absorption capacity, no doubt. But our planners allocations are most of all misallocation and disallocation. And the planning process in India has totally failed to bring any change in its occupational structure. And the factors responsible in its occupational structure. And now we are discussing, we are going to observe what are the factors responsible for failure of occupational structure. This is one of the important aspects. Due to miss and disallocation of resources of our planners, our 5-year plan implementers, the failure of rural economy strategy is most important. So rural economy strategy completely failed. So rural economy dependent labor are almost all, most of the days, jobless and workless situation. And Indian planners don't make any serious attempt to enlarge the non-agricultural rural employment. So this is the main drawback. And land reforms. So land reforms in India is failed miserably. In India, failed miserably. That means it's a very pathetic situation. It's a very greatest failure attempt, land reforms. And agri subsidies only benefited to rich farmers only. So on the other side, poor and marginal farmers are neglected. They don't get any benefits from government side. So most of the beneficiaries are highly anticipated farmer, highly landlords and rich farmers. And efforts of planners, strategies benefit not only in industries, also big business groups like Tata's, Birla's, Reliance, etc. So those business groups are benefited. Small and micro, small, medium enterprises are neglected due to misplanning of planners. And the high rate of growth of labor force don't getting any occupation, especially in agri sector. And the service sector as well as, so to foster the growth of non-agricultural employment side by side with modern large-scale industrial sector. And service sector and industrial sector growing simultaneously side by side. This is also one of the major change. And development of this huge labor-intensive sector will raise the level of employment and income both in rural and urban areas. And other occupational distribution of population in India is now imbalanced. This is the most important. For example, according to our demographic dividend, and that means working age population, agriculture and allied sectors, industries and the services sector equally balanced, but there is no problem. But practically, this distribution is imbalanced. So, most consisting and dependable sector, agricultural sector, was neglected by planners. But planners concentration only industries and services. But industries and services have faced lack of capital, lack of investments, lack of technology, lack of skilled labor. But there is no use to allocation of resources on that particular sectors, industries and services. So this is also one of the major causes of imbalance of different sectors. And the performance of public sector also is not satisfactory. And the tertiary sector has also failed to absorb the excess population. This is the most important. Public sector also failed to generate employment, and service sector also failed to generate employment. So most of the surplus labor are existing in agri and allied sectors. So those laborers are not moved to industries and services sector properly. So sometimes they move properly to agri and service sector, but they don't have any skilled and technical knowledge. That is one of the drawbacks of our system. So So before I am going to conclude, this is the occupational. I'm going to say this is the occupational structure of our economy. But finally, I observed and I concluded the services sector is rapidly growing in our economy. This is the most important. And industry sector also, but still agriculture and allied sectors are decreasing more rapidly comparatively agriculture and comparatively industries and services. So agricultural and allied sectors also have more potentiality in our India now. So this sector provides more employment to our people, especially unskilled people. So I think the governments, both central and state governments, concentration on agriculture and allied sectors. That sectors also boosts to another sectors like industries and services. So that is the main future strategy of our economy. So we are waiting. So now I conclude the topic, third topic of this unit. Thank you, my dear students.